Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm getting my live stream all started up. I'm going to get it shared. And then we can go ahead and get everything started. So let's give it just 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to hop on and for the shares to go out. But I hope you all had a nice week. We did have some things change with our case this week that I can go over. So I'm excited to talk to you all about that. Let me get Twitter pulled up here. All right. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Oh, that was quick, Janie, John. Appreciate you all hopping in. Go a little bit like this. Awesome. Let me get my Twitter feed going. We can go ahead and get started with my weekly live stream update Q&A. All right, so my name is Dan Whitfield, and I am the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. Every single weekend, well, most weekends, in case something happens, I don't get to do them, but I like to do a weekly live stream update and a Q&A where y'all can ask me any questions you have, whether it's regarding policy or my life or whatever you all want to know, and I'll answer your questions in real time. And then if we don't make it through all of the questions, I will answer your questions that you sent to me through messages, or if you give me a call or an email or something like that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got some people on Twitter and on Facebook already. All right, so updates. Let's start with our ballot access, because that's the question I get like 1.5 million times a day is, are you going to be on the ballot? So where we are right now, we will be on the ballot. We're just going through the legal process. So don't lose hope. Don't lose, that steam, that support, anything like that. We're moving forward through the process. Where we stand today is we have filed an appeal with the 8th Circuit Courts, and we are waiting for our judges to be assigned. So now, when it comes down to that part, something really interesting happened the other day. On Thursday, we had filed an expedite for our appeal. Our expedite was denied. They denied we filed our expedite, and then the Attorney General's office filed an opposition to our expedite and asked that they do not expedite our case. And then they granted that motion, which prevented us from expediting the case. Now, real quick, don't worry about it. We are renewing the expedite because they had inaccurate data in their opposition. So we are going to renew it, and we're going to get this thing expedited. But it was really interesting because last week, the United States Attorney General, William Barr, came to Arkansas and had a closed-door meeting with Arkansas's Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge, John Thurston, the Secretary of State, Governor Asa Hutchinson was there, and my opponent, Tom Cotton. So we have collusion, which really borders on ethical, standards. They're trying to keep us off the ballot, but they're trying so hard because they know we're going to win our case. So don't worry, we will win our case. We're just going through the legal process, and it can be stressful and emotional, probably more for me than all of y'all, but just don't lose hope, don't give up faith, and we are moving forward through this. We will have ballot access, so don't worry about it. All right, so that's where we are with our case right now. Another interesting thing is I actually had called the 8th Circuit Clerk's office to ask about why our expedite was denied, what had happened. I actually posted on my website their denial of our expedite, and it doesn't say anything. So the first thing she did was she said, well, sometimes judges will do that. Let me see who your panel of judges are. So she starts looking it up, and she said, wow, that's really odd. There are no judges assigned to your case. This order did not come from a judge. So she kept looking further and further, and she's like, well, it looks like this order came from an unnamed associate of an unnamed judicial clerk. So it's really, really fishy. I have no idea who actually opposed our expedite. All we know is it wasn't a judge, it was an unnamed person. which is very, very interesting, especially when all of these people are taking money from my opponent, Tom Cotton. So we are still moving forward, though. We're not going to give up hope. We will win our case. And if they weren't scared, like if they weren't terrified of us winning our case and beating Cotton in November, then they wouldn't be trying so hard and wasting so much money. It's just really sad because they're all this money, this time they're spending, this is your tax dollars. They're wasting our tax dollars to fight for ballot suppression. And when 1 in 4 children in Arkansas are living in poverty, it is not a good idea to waste tax dollars on suppressing Arkansans' vote. It is disgusting, it's disgraceful, and it's immoral. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep on fighting. There is a chance if they don't approve our expedite that the next oral arguments will be from September 21st to September 25th, which is what the Attorney General's trying to do. Because if they do that, then they will start printing the absentee ballots in late August, and the absentee ballots will already be printed by the time we have our hearing. What we will do is we will make sure in our lawsuit that we have them reprint the ballots once we win our case. I'm just a little worried about the kind of shenanigans that are going to happen because the Secretary of State, John Thurston, whom I'm suing because he works for my opponent, to get ballot access, he will be responsible for reprinting and redistributing the new ballots that have my name on them. So I'm a little worried that not everyone's going to get a ballot that has my name. They'll probably have all sorts of internal intentional mistakes, but that's why we're trying to get the expedite done so that they can't do anything else crazy like that. So don't lose hope. We are moving forward. All right, so I have some other really exciting news for our campaign. I was able to get some of our merchandise in finally. I actually have sent out more than 75 different orders of yard signs just in the last couple days. So y'all should be having your yard signs come here soon. Yeah, I'm super excited to see them out there. I've seen a few of them up already. They look really good. They're red, they're bright blue. I'm super excited for them, and I hope y'all are too. And thank you guys so much for helping to put them around your cities, for putting them on your property and showing support and telling your neighbors around you that we're tired of Tom Cotton. I do have several people who have requested to pass out 10 yard signs themselves around their cities. I haven't forgot about y'all. I just haven't sent them out yet. I'm working on getting my orders, my back orders filled right now. We will get those ones sent out. So on that note, if you would like to volunteer to accept 10 yard signs and put them in different places around your city on, busy roads, intersections where you usually see yard signs in political times. I know we all see them and hate them, but I'm asking you to put some of those up for me in those places you hate to see them. If you can do that, send me a message and I'll get your name, your address, and your phone number. I'll get you on my yard sign list and we will go ahead and get you 10 yard signs as soon as possible. All right, so some other things came in. Let's see here. We will start with hats. So right now, all of our merchandise that came in, it is all sealed in bags. So you don't have to worry about, it looks like there's some little holes in there, but everything's sealed in bags. But these are our hats. These are the blue hats. These are navy blue with red. They're super cool. I wish I could take them out of the plastic, but I don't want to mess these ones up. And if you look at the back, it's super hard to tell. You know what? I'm gonna buy this hat. This hat's mine now. All right. So if you look in the back, they go all the way around. These are really nice hats. These are flex fit hats. They're gonna be comfortable. They're not cheap. That's why I'm asking, I think, $20 right now for them. But they're really good quality hats, and they look super cool. All right. Put some over my my COVID hair. All right, and then let's see here. We have also got the same hats in white, the flex fit and all that stuff. They're really good hats. So we've got white hat with red. Those look pretty cool, and those match really well with, what size is this? This is, I have no idea what size it is, but you know what? I'm gonna buy this too. I'll open this up. All right, so we have got our campaign shirts. Make sure I can get these in for people to see. So Wow, that's a big shirt. I opened up a really big one. So yeah, Dan Whitfield, 2020 Independent for U.S. Senate. It's got the front. It's not an iron-on thing. They're really nice. These are going to last. They're going to make it through lots of washes. And then the back, see how it's backwards? How cool is that? It's actually backwards. I did that on purpose. I flipped the image. I mirrored it. That way when people are behind you, they're going to be like, what does that say? What is that? And they're going to look closer, and then, you know, you can turn around and they can see it and be like, oh, that's what it is. So I thought that was kind of clever and cool. But yeah, so we've got our shirts. I have men's shirts, women's shirts, different sizes. We have our ball caps now. What is this thing on here? Get this sticker off since I'm buying it anyways. Haha. Awesome. I'm stoked. So now I'm wearing a suit, a vest, a tie, and a ball cap. Awesome. Classy. All right. So we've got all these new things in our shop. So make sure you check out replacetomcotton.com and click on the store tab. And you can, you know, buy all this cool stuff to show people that, you know, show your support. And then it also helps show people that you don't like Tom Cotton. Because we do have those bumper stickers still that say Tom Cotton is bad for America. My highest selling item on my store. Because he really is bad for America. And people are starting to understand that, and we want our voices to be heard. All right, so enough about that. Those are just the new things I do have in my shop. There's some cool stuff in there. I'm actually super excited about this hat. It's really comfortable. I can tell when I pull it, it kind of goes backwards. It is a flex fit. It's awesome. I used to wear hats all the time. I just don't anymore. All right. Moving on. So I'm going to start going through here soon and start reading through some of these questions that are coming on. So make sure you ask any questions you have for this Q&A session. Let's see here. All right. Did you see, hun? It's the hat. It's super comfortable.
You should not be wearing that.
It came in a sealed plastic bag.
Exactly. The plastic is bringing you inside the house without.
I will sanitize this whole area, I promise. All right. So let's see here. Allison, hey Dan, need to unseat Jason Rapper too while you're getting rid of Cotton. I have seen that. I was very, very disappointed to see our state representative Rapper's comments on all sorts of different comments, honestly, from the way he responds to constituents to the way that he was calling the coronavirus a Democratic hoax. And I wish him the best. You never wish ill upon someone. I hope he recovers from the coronavirus and gets out of the hospital soon. But man, you got to stop talking to people like that. Don't talk to your constituents any differently than you would talk to your own mother. That's kind of the way that I go about it. And you probably should too. You should lead by example, sir. That would be appreciated. Let's see here. I know the corruption in our state is amazing. And that's why I really want to make it important, like a really important part of our campaign. I'm going to lower that so you can see. Oh, it looks so good. A really important part of our campaign needs to be making people aware of who their representatives are, how their representatives have been voting, and then how to run against those representatives if they do not appreciate the way that they have been represented. We need to make sure that we do not have 66 state legislators running unopposed. That is not the way a democracy works. Or a representative republic, however you want to look at it, people shouldn't be selected for a position. They should be voted into a position. We saw that a perfect example of that is the gentleman who had originally joined my lawsuit, Gary Foltz. He was trying to run against a lady in his district who has actually, this will be her third term serving, and she has never been in a general election because she has been running unopposed. 3 terms representing her constituents, and they have never voted for her. So we have to make sure that we are paying attention to who is representing us. And if you don't like how they're doing it, we need to teach you how to run for office so that you can do something about it. Let's see here. Oh, are you okay?
Turn the fan off.
Turn the fan off? All right. Let's see here. People like it when Dan pops in at that page. Yeah, we definitely have to get rid of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very dangerous person. I think I talked just a little bit about Portland last week, but everything that's going on in Portland right now is so very important because this is foreshadowing. It's literally showing us what is going to happen in many, many other large cities across the country. It is not going to be a singular incident in Portland. These are not insurrectionists. They are not rioters. They're not looters. These are people. Of course, there are some agitators in the Portland protest crowd, but from what we've seen, the facts are a lot of these riots have been started by agitators in the protester crowd that aren't even part of the protests. We have far right-wing extremist nut jobs going into these protests, agitating them. We have people showing up who don't even support the BLM movement, throwing frozen bottles of water at police officers to start getting them going. So make sure you understand who you're upset at and make sure that you understand what's really going on. But we really have to be careful with this path that we've been going down because this is the path to fascism. This is the path to an authoritarian government. And once we start down this path, we're not going to be able to go back. We have to make sure that we are treating American citizens like American citizens and not like foreign hostiles in foreign territory. This is America on domestic soil. We need to make sure that we are not using tear gas, a chemical weapon, against, for the most part, peaceful Americans expressing their First Amendment constitutional rights. We cannot be using tear gas. If we're not allowed to use tear gas when we are at war in a foreign country, invading a foreign country, then we should not be able to use tear gas against American citizens on American soil. And that also goes along with my tweet earlier. We also have to make sure that less lethal weapons are being used in the appropriate way. They have direction. There is a way to use less lethals. They are made to be a deterrent, to shoot people in the torso, in the legs, to get them to back off. They are not made to be shot at people's faces or their heads. That is not the intended purpose. And when we have any person using these weapons in any other way than the intended purpose, they need to suffer criminal charges. We cannot be having people losing eyeballs, losing fingers, getting brain injuries from less lethal weapons that are being used in the way that they were not intended to be used. I mean, we see that with... I was just cleaning my garage the other day and found some rat poison. It says right there, this is federal law. Do not use unless you're using as intended. Do not use in any other way than intended, or it's a felony. Why is rat poison more important than less lethal weapons being used against people? We have to make sure that we're taking care of people and doing this the right way. I do understand we have to have some kind of order, but order will come when the law enforcement, or the federal troops rather at this point, start acting in the appropriate manner. If they weren't acting in such a crazy fascist way, they wouldn't have escalated this into the kind of situation we're seeing today. All right, I'm going to start reading through some more comments on here and try not to go off on too many more Portland rants because it's really crazy. Oh, let's see. They can't make it any more obvious. They are trying to suppress me. I'm really curious why we are not investigating them for ethical violations at this point. We know the people trying to keep us off the ballot are Governor Asa Hutchinson, Secretary of State John Thurston. I might need to get some water. And the Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. And all three of those people have taken money from my opponent, Tom Cotton. And they're using their elected positions to help him suppress the ballot because they know he's going to lose. He was actually recently, and through the Arkansas Times, voted the least favored Arkansan, and I believe it's not the first time. Let's see. Oh, yeah, thank you, Donna. Yeah, if y'all can afford to donate, I'd really appreciate it. We're using our money right now to extend our reach, to get email lists, to get our name out there, because a lot of people still don't know about our campaign and they still think Tom Cotton's running unopposed. So we need to make them aware that they will have another option in November. Let's see here. It's so hard to reach Rachel Maddow. I know there are a lot of these really big interviewers and TV personalities that do like to do political interviews, but actually getting a hold of them and getting an appointment set up is nearly impossible. We send emails, we reach out, but they never respond, unfortunately. Maybe if we could get hundreds of people to do it, they would have a better chance at responding to us and actually seeing it with their slew of probably thousands of emails they get a day. Oh, thank you, Richard. I appreciate it, sir. I stand with you, too. That's why I'm doing this, for y'all. I don't know why, but my browser will not let me go to your website. It's very strange. Try this one here, danwittcongress.us. So replacetomcotton.com, it's just a domain. All of these different domains I have forward to danwittcongress.us. I liked danwittcongress.us because it's .us for us, but it wasn't as easy to remember as replacetomcotton.com. So try that one out. If you have any problems, send me a message and I'll figure out how to get you on our website. I have to scroll up just a little bit here because when I entered that comment in, it went all the way down. Yeah, Grant, thank you y'all for reaching out. We'll have a short meeting tomorrow morning, and if you guys have any questions, just ask. If anyone ever wants to set up like a Zoom meeting, just send me a message. If you have questions, want to get to know me or talk to me, or give me any concerns or suggestions, anything like that, don't ever hesitate to reach out. Just send me a message or give me a call. No, Doug, I cannot be a write-in. So the way write-ins work in Arkansas is in order to be a write-in candidate, you actually have to file as a write-in candidate between November 4th and November 11th. Now, what that means is when you file to run for political office, you have to sign a political practices pledge. And when you sign that political practices pledge, you have to mark whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or whatever party, or a write-in. And if I wanted to run as a write-in, I would have had to check the write-in box instead of the independent box back in November before we even knew COVID was going to be a thing. So I didn't have the foresight for COVID-19 to see how it would affect our signature collection after orders from the state came out declaring a state of emergency. There's just no way to foresee that. So I did not check the write-in box. I decided to run as an independent, so I cannot run as a write-in candidate, which is also odd because if you file as a write-in candidate in November, then you actually have until August 5th to contact every single county to let them know you're going to be a write-in candidate. So it's really odd. It's really odd. That's why part of our lawsuit's saying that it's unconstitutional to have to actually file a year before the election, and that's a very good example why. Oh, thank you, Mickey, for joining us. I wish I could come see y'all. Yeah, the shirts do look awesome. I'm really excited for them. I've already got a few that were ordered on back order. I will get those all shipped out. I'm actually waiting on my USPS regional rate B2 boxes to come in. Once my USPS boxes come in, I'll get them shipped out right away to y'all. And yeah, bumper stickers. I got more bumper stickers coming in. I've got my round stickers now. The round stickers are really cool. Feel free to buy one of those and put it on your laptop for work or school or whatever. And then I've also been kind of giving some of those away for free for people who make orders. Usually, if you've ever ordered something from my store, say you order a bumper sticker, you'll get your package. It's not just going to be a bumper sticker. It's going to be like a bumper sticker with a refrigerator magnet with the sticker and a business card and all sorts of different stuff. I try to hook my peeps up. Let's see here. Let's see, Lewis. If I ever see you again, Mr. Doc, I will get you a shirt. I know it's been a while since I've been up to Eureka Springs, but it's just so hard because COVID just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and we're hitting new daily highs. So it's just really tough to get out there and meet with people, unfortunately, right now. Did I see the anti-mask people protesting across the state today? I did not, fortunately. It's pretty simple to me. Even Donald Trump, President Donald J. Trump, said very recently that it is patriotic to wear a mask. So if you believe it's a hoax, believe Trump, and be patriotic and wear a mask. If you don't believe Trump, wear one because it's the smart thing to do to keep yourself and the people around you safe. That's just part of the social contract, something we all agree to for being American citizens. Wear a mask, save a life. Let's see here. I remember when AR was a blue state. Do you happen to know why everyone started voting Republican against their own interests? We need more people like you at the state level as well. So, Mr. John, when it became a red state, it was the Koch brothers. Just plainly, it was the Koch brothers. They decided to throw like $10 million into our state elections back in 2014, and they basically purchased a lot of legislative seats throughout our state and throughout our federal government. It was the Kochs. They're the reason that we flipped to red. They injected a lot of money. And when 86% of the candidates that have more money in their bank accounts win elections, you end up with a bunch of Koch-paid puppets. Let's see here. Yeah, Leslie Rutledge is a snake. I cannot believe that woman, unfortunately. I mean, we've all seen her unethical allegations against her. We've all seen those emails that she had sent out. I have no idea how she got elected into office in the first place, except then he comes back to Koch brothers. We have to do something about that. And you know what? Right now, between me and y'all, if Leslie Rutledge is the reason that I don't get ballot access because she unethically suppresses our ballots, I will do everything in my power to make sure that she does not win the governorship in 2022. We cannot afford a corrupt woman like that to run our state, just like we cannot afford to have another corrupt man like Asa Hutchinson run our state. We cannot allow corrupt people to make decisions that affect our lives. Literally life and death decisions. How many people have died in Arkansas because our leadership decided to follow the president rather than listening to their constituents and scientists and went on about this Democratic hoax and not pushing masks? How many lives have been lost? One life lost because of party politics is one life too many. I will do what it takes. And if that means I have to run for governor, then I will run for governor. But we will figure something out to make sure that she does not win that seat, because we cannot afford that as Arkansans. Our children cannot afford that. Callie, as far as anything to do to help get us on the ballot, we're just going through the legal process. I have to wait for we don't even have a panel of judges assigned to us. It's so odd. Our case has been filed for pretty much a month now, and we still do not have our panel of judges. It's very, very odd. Normally we would have judges, and then to have, William Barr come and meet with my opponent and our attorney general and our governor and secretary of state and all that last week, that was very, very odd. We know William Barr is a criminal. We know he's corrupt and he should be disbarred. And now he's meeting with our local criminals. So they're going to do everything they can. But we are not going to give up, and we are going to win. They would not be trying so hard if they thought that we weren't going to win. Oh, thank you, Joshua. Yeah, I've been updating my policies, trying to keep it up to date and add some new things. I think I added my LGBTQ plus rights on there recently. I added protecting the USPS and expanding it. Man, I don't even know what I added. I've got so many different policies, but there's just so many important things that we can't afford to put off anymore. Preventing a domestic abuse and accountability. We have to also focus on domestic abuse. We don't talk about it enough. It's kind of a subject that's really, brushed under the rug, but that is something that we will need to bring more public awareness to, is domestic abuse in homes here in Arkansas and across the country, of course. So I don't think Rutledge is going to be competing against Sarah Sanders and Tim Griffin for the Republican nominations. I'm pretty sure Rutledge and Sanders aren't going to compete. One of them will run for governor and one of them will run for lieutenant governor. Tim Griffin's probably going to get pushed out because of party politics. Rutledge has already announced she wants to run for governor. So I'm guessing Sanders will run for lieutenant and maybe do lieutenant for like 8 years and then run for governor after. She's still a younger lady, so she has time to do stuff like that and play the party politics game. What are my best ideas to improve our schools and reform our prisons? Thank you, Julia. That's such an important question because we really have to focus on both of those two things, especially when we're actually spending more money on prisons than we are on our educational system. So as far as improving our educational system in our schools, I think the best way to go about it here in Arkansas, which is the state that I'm going to be representing, the people I'm going to be representing, we have to make sure that all of our schools in Arkansas are getting equivalent funding. We have to make sure that when we have schools in Northwest Arkansas, we have some of the best paying teacher positions. We have some of the best ranked schools in the nation. But then when you get into the Delta region or, over away from Northwest Arkansas, basically, you start ending up with lower quality schools, lower ranked schools, less paid teacher salaries. We have to figure out how to raise teaching salaries in areas where they're underpaid and raise the quality of education in our schools that are being underfunded. I think the best way to do that would be to, rather than using community taxes to fund your public education, we should be having a state pool where all of our funds go in together and then we distribute it equally depending on the amount of students to make sure that every single child in Arkansas has the ability to succeed, has the opportunity to make it through their school and be ready for college if they so choose, or trade school, or to continue their life through our society. But we have to make sure that some students aren't getting making up numbers, say $20,000 a student to get through education, and then say $2,000 for a student to get through their education. We have to make sure that we have a level playing field, and that's going to really help with our systemic racism as well, because a lot of the underfunded schools are in predominantly minority neighborhoods, and we need to make sure that everybody has a fair and equal chance to succeed in our society. And that's just education. For prison reform, it's completely different. Number one, we've been treating prison like a profit business. Prisons are basically a capitalist system. We are keeping cells full. We are filling up prison cells and trying to keep them that way, not to get criminals off the street or violent people, not to help people out, but so that the prisons can make more money. And we need to make sure we're putting people above profits. And we need to start treating our prison system like a rehabilitation system. We need to make sure that when someone goes to jail for, say, a minor drug offense, they are not stuck in jail for several years becoming a criminal when they weren't a criminal in the first place. They just made a mistake. We need to start treating addiction and drug problems, drug use, like a mental health issue, not a criminal issue. We need to also federally decriminalize and nationally expunge cannabis convictions. That way we can free up a lot of these cells that are just being filled by nonviolent people who, a lot of them just minding their own business, sitting in their home, maybe smoking a J, and they got arrested and now they're in jail for God only knows how long. Or maybe they, just picked up some herb from their friend and they're driving home and got pulled over because their fucking tail light is out and now they're in jail for God only knows how long. We have to make sure that these drug charges are not ruining people's lives. If we can start treating drug problems like a drug problem, like a mental health issue, then we can start reforming our prison system. But we also have to make sure we are completely taking away the financial incentives to keeping people incarcerated. We have only roughly 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's populated inmates. It is insane. We have, and Arkansas is really bad. We're actually number 4 right now for the most people incarcerated per capita in America. So we have a lot of work to do. We have to remove that financial incentive, though. We need to stop prison lobbying. We need to stop private prisons and make all prisons federally regulated and mandated. That way, when someone is in jail, they are living to a standard that is far superior than the standard required from a private facility. And I will keep reading some more comments because there's a whole bunch coming. And I can be more clear. If you have any more questions, ask me about it and I can clarify anything, or you can even give me a call or whatever best suits you. Is there a way to get national media attention because of that, to speed things up? So we're trying to get national media attention. It's just so hard because a lot of the national media doesn't even know our campaign exists. You know, if you've got some free time, feel free to give Fox a call or CNN or MSNBC, ABC, and let them know, be like, hey, did you know there's someone running against Tom Cotton? He can really use your help. He's got a lot of things to say. His website is replacetomcotton.com. Check it out. And if you like what you hear, his contact number is on there. You know, do something like that. And if we get enough people doing that, maybe we can get the attention of some national media and get some national coverage. That would be phenomenal. Keep their feet to the fire. The future deserves better representation. Power tends to protect itself merely to maintain its own status and control. Principle gives up power for the sake of creating the best public policy. Wow, Daniel Webster, very wise guy. So it is really hard to take power away from those who already have it. And it's something that we're going to have to figure out how to do. How do you get a congressman to vote on legislation that's going to lower their power? It's really hard, but the answer is public pressure. We have to bring the pressure to them. It's going to take millions and millions of people standing up and building public pressure in order to get these changes that we so desperately need. Do you think congressmen are going to want to vote to end lobbying? Do you think congressmen are going to want to vote to end the funneling of cash into their pockets? They are not going to want to. But if you let them know that this is what we want, and if you don't do it, we're going to get you out and put someone in who will, then they might start to do it. We have to light those fires and we have to build that public pressure if we're going to start getting these positive changes that we so desperately need. Yeah, I'm really scared about starting schools as well. We are not ready to start schools. I think I just read that a 9-year-old girl lost her life due to COVID-19 just the other day. This does affect children. Yes, children are much more likely to get over it, but it's not just the children's lives at risk. When you send your child into a building with hundreds of other children, then it's going to spread like wildfire in there. When I start my classes up next month, I'm a college student. I'm an adult. I understand self-responsibility, and I understand kind of a little bit how germs transmit from one surface to another. If someone asks me to borrow my pen, I'm going to say no. I'm not going to be sitting at my desk just kind of touching all over and touching a bunch of things on my chair and moving around. I'm going to be aware of my environments around me to keep myself safe. Children aren't going to be doing that. If you're sitting at a table and a kid's like, hey, my pencil broke, can I have a pencil? Be like, yeah, here, I've got 5. Okay, awesome. And now they're going to give those 5 out to someone else. I mean, they're kids, they're going to play. And we have to make sure that we are not putting them into those kind of situations where they don't understand where they don't understand the consequences of giving someone a hug. I mean, do you know how hard it is for a kid to walk up to a kid like my daughter and go, oh, hey, to give a hug and to say no? Kids don't do that. So we do have to be careful. We need to keep kids home. And this isn't, just for our children's safety. This is also for all of our teachers. A lot of teachers are older. A lot of teachers are immune compromised. We have to worry about our teaching staff. We have to worry about the people cleaning the facilities when all of the kids go home. We have to worry about the bus drivers transporting the kids back and forth to school. We have to worry about every single person that is involved in that chain of your child leaves your house and goes to school and gets back to your house. We're not ready for that, especially when we are seeing our average 7-day COVID exposures go up and we are seeing death rates rise. I think we just had 1,038 new cases the other day. Over 1,000 new cases. When we closed our schools and ended schools, Do you know what our average case per 7 days was? In March, when we closed our schools, the average case over 7 days was 3 cases per day. And they're trying to tell us that we need to send our kids back to school when our average is over 700 cases per day now? Absolutely not. It makes no sense. They have literally turned a worldwide pandemic into a partisan playground, and it is really crazy. I mean, our administration will have blood on their hands. Straight Asa Hutchinson, if you allow schools to go back into session, you will have blood on your hands for every single child, family member, and anyone involved with a child that dies. It's your fault, Hutchinson, and I hope you understand that and think about that really hard before you go to bed and decide to open up our schools. Sorry, it's really important, and I'm really passionate about it because people's lives are way more important than partisan politics. And I know a lot of people are like, kind of on that. They're like, well, I have a job, school is like daycare. How am I supposed to go to work to pay my bills or take care of my kid? What do I do? Well, the answer is we need a People's Act. We need a stimulus that is not a slush fund and giveaway to billionaires and corporations. We need a stimulus that is going to help the American people. And through the People's Act, what we need is $2,000 per Social Security card holder, $2,000 per month until the pandemic is over. That should cover your bills. With a family of 4, that's $8,000 per month. You can't tell me $8,000 a month is not going to pay your mortgage, your car payment, and everything else you need. If we do that, we can take care of people and they don't have to make that decision that no parent should ever have to make. Do I risk my kid's life or do I lose my house? That is not a decision that Americans should ever have to make. Legal cannabis will also fix a veteran suicide problem. I don't know if it was going to fix 22 a day because we definitely need to revamp the VA. We need to make sure our mental health care is a lot better than what it is now, but it will help a lot. Undoubtedly, it will help a lot. Oh, let's see here. Will you post some ideas on the wording for emails we need to send to the press after the Facebook? Yeah, we can do that. And so the other evening, I asked y'all to, or I didn't ask y'all, but I suggested you could reach out to Nicholas Brony. He is the Solicitor General for the state of Arkansas. He works for the Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge. And he's the gentleman who actually opposed our expedite for our appeal. He's the gentleman who lied and said terrible things about me during our hearing. If you go to replacetomcotton.com, click on Ballot Access, and go to our hearing transcripts, it's a 254-page document. Just read through some of it. You can scan fairly easily. Listen to the way he talks to people. Listen to what he says. I couldn't believe it. So he is directly trying to suppress Arkansans' choice by opposing our expedite for our appeal. He could just let our appeal get expedited and be done with it, but no, he's trying to make it take until after the election so that they can, very efficiently suppress the votes. We're not going to let them do that. Thank y'all for sending him emails. I appreciate y'all doing that. He got over 150 emails that night, and he woke up the next morning to a bunch of emails to constituents, people he works for. He probably didn't want to have to read, and he actually reached out to my lawyer and threatened to go to the judge and do all these different things. I guess you're not allowed to reach out to a state official who's supposed to be working for you. I don't know, but thank y'all for doing that. I do appreciate it. Public pressure is really good. We have to let these corrupt people know that we're not afraid. We are not ignorant. We see what's going on, and we're not going to take it. Yeah, our cases, I mean, they've quadrupled in just 8 weeks, and it's going to get worse. We're getting ready to come into fall and flu season. It's terrible. Yeah, see, exactly, Stephanie. You know, literally, children go everywhere. It's just going to spread like wildfire. If your kid, they get COVID at school, and then you take them home and you go to the grocery store, and now you got them in the cart and you're rolling down the aisle and they're just touching boxes down the aisle because that's what kids do. You know, it's just crazy how easy this is to spread. It is a terribly difficult situation. We do need social safety nets, and we do need UBI right now for this pandemic if we are to keep our society intact. Let's see here. So you have all sorts of interesting things here, Reftopa. I'm not sure if you're like asking me to talk about all these topics, but these are all, it looks like, policies that I support. And they're all very important policies. Ending corruption, ranked choice voting. Oh yeah, so I guess I didn't really talk about it too much. Tom Cotton had actually put out an op-ed, I guess a little over a week ago, talking about how ranked choice voting is bad and how you should vote no on it because it takes your choice away or something like that. Well, Tom Cotton, you're a liar. And the best way that I could tell everyone that you're a liar and explain it is I wrote my own op-ed in opposition to his op-ed about how ranked choice voting is bad, explaining what ranked choice voting is and how it actually gives you more of a choice over who you vote for. So make sure you check out my op-ed on ranked choice voting. If you go to replacetomcotton.com, click on the media tab, you can see both of my op-eds on there, the one about systemic racism and the one about ranked choice voting. So make sure you check out my op-eds. And I just can't believe some of the stuff he says. And it was actually very odd. Something to think about. So John Thurston, our Secretary of State, has taken money from Tom Cotton. Fact number one. Next, fact number two. Tom Cotton writes an op-ed about how ranked choice voting is bad and how Arkansans should vote no on it. Fact number three. The next day, the Secretary of State, John Thurston, after taking money from Tom Cotton, throws out the initiative that got more than 90,000 signatures for ranked choice voting in Arkansas. We were going to vote on ranked choice voting this year, but John Thurston, after his donor wrote an op-ed about how ranked choice voting is bad, threw out our ranked choice voting initiative after getting almost 100,000 signatures from Arkansans. Wow. Just wow. I mean, how do you even... Wow. So make sure you're paying attention to what John Thurston's doing. He threw out three initiatives. He threw out the ranked choice voting initiative. He threw out the anti-gerrymandering initiative. And he also threw out an initiative that had to do with casino licenses. So, I mean, he is insane. Who's up to run against John Thurston for Secretary of State in 2022? Any takers? I'll help you do it. We'll figure it out. We need to make sure that this incompetent man is not allowed to be in charge of our election system. He is incompetent, he is unethical, he is immoral, and he is corrupt. And those four things right there mean he needs to be voted out. So we need to figure out who we can run against him to make sure that we do not allow a person like that to be in control of our electoral system. And thank you, Janie, for linking my op-ed. I appreciate it. So how do we combat redistricting and gerrymandering at the grassroots level? The best way to do it is to get an initiative on the ballot to get 100,000 signatures. Well, we did that. We tried, and the Secretary of State threw it out. So honestly, at this point, I have no idea. We can do it again. Make sure you do vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. Look at issue number 3. Issue number 3 is the petition killer. It is going to make it significantly harder for Arkansas's citizens to be able to get signatures to get initiatives on the ballot. So look into issue number 3. Make sure you know what issue number 3 is when you come to the voting booth or when you get your absentee ballot, and make sure you vote in the best way possible for issue number 3. It is very, very important. One of the most important things that you will vote on this year. All right, Heather. Yeah, we definitely need to find someone to run against Thurston. I think as long as you're like either 30 or 35 years old, that's the only requirement. And be ethical. That's pretty easy. Be ethical. Be more ethical than John Thurston. Not a hard task. So actually, Carla, I think it has to do a lot with me, honestly, why they want to do absentee ballots now. It's because of me. I mean, I'm not claiming credit for it. It's not because of anything I did, but it's because they're trying to hold our lawsuit until after the absentee ballots are printed. And then they want us to win our suit because we're going to win. And then the absentee ballots will already be printed and distributed. And then they're going to have to reprint them. And then it will be their control of whether or not they redistribute them or whether or not they have intentional internal problems or anything like that. But I think that's why they want the absentee ballots, because it's crazy. They're saying COVID-19 did not severely impact my ability to collect signatures, but they're saying COVID-19 severely is impacting people's ability to vote, so we are having a historic amount of absentee ballots requested. What? It's craziness. I mean, it's just so insane what we're having to deal with. And I really appreciate all your guys' support through all this and sticking with it. We're not going to give up. We're going to win this. It's just an emotional roller coaster. All right. So I'm looking at my Facebook here. I've kind of gotten through all the questions. We're getting pretty close to 1 hour. I don't see any questions on Twitter. Wow, that is a nice looking hat. I like it. You should get these hats while you can. I only got 40 of them. So get them while you can. They're pretty awesome. And I'll get more if I have to. We can do back orders. Let's see here. Humanist report. A secular talk national, rational. Yeah, for sure. I know Young Turks, I don't think they're doing a whole lot right now because they've got like their own candidate. My hair's all messed up. This thing, I hope you like my COVID hair. It looks like a mop. I'm going to start looking like one of the Beatles here soon if I don't go get a haircut, but I don't want to go get a haircut. COVID. I've been reaching out to them. I've been doing some interviews with different people. I actually just did my second interview with We the People I think it was on Thursday. So within the next week, we'll have our We the People interview coming out. And it was a great interview. As soon as she gets it all published, I'll get it shared to y'all. I hope you enjoy it. We went through a lot of really important issues and it was a great interview. So I'll make sure to post that and host a watch party once that gets published. And you know, Marilyn, I think liberally minded people do tend to care more about the people over profits, but it's not necessarily just liberally minded people. Can we get some ethical people? Please? Can we just get some people that care about the common good and about their neighbors? You know, love thy neighbor, just some decent human beings. Can we have a good person in office? Look at Jason Rappert. Sorry, dude, you are not a decent human being. And yeah, you're not fooling anyone. It's crazy. I hate to say that on here like this and put him on blast, but some of the stuff he's been saying, he literally called someone a witch, like a sadistic witch or something crazy like that. I mean, you just don't talk to people like that. You just don't talk to people like that, bro. That's not how it's done. Let's see. Yeah, feel free, you know, Richard, anyone, reach out to independent sources. I know it takes a lot of different supporters reaching out to some groups before they'll actually start to pay attention. Reach out, be like, hey, check out replacetomcotton.com. This is Dan Whitfield. He's running against Tom Cotton, and see if they'll do an interview. And if they're up to it, you know, tell them to send me a message or you send me a message, but get us together and we will do these interviews so that we can get our name out there a little bit better. All right. So, we'll just go for a brief summary real quick of what we went over. We got our hats in. We got our shirts in. That's the back. My bad. There you go. They look super awesome. I love it. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you also. We got our yard signs in. Oh, I should have done this way earlier. My bad, I forgot. So we have got our yard signs. This is what they look like. They are corrugated plastic. The H-frame stakes that I have, they're heavy-duty stakes. So when you go to put it out, I mean, they're really nice. You can just take a hammer and just beat them down in the ground. They're not going to bend. So make sure you check out our yard signs. Check out our campaign store. Get some stuff. Show some support. Thank you all so much again for all of your support. I wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. And I wouldn't even be able to emotionally handle all of this crazy stress without your guys' amazing support. So thank you so much. But yeah, so let's see. I have not been interviewed by Robbie Brock yet. But he was at one point ready to interview me. And then I think COVID happened and he got busy. I'll send him an email and see if he's ready to get back into this. But I'm going to go ahead and end it. We are at 1 hour now. So thank you guys so much. If you do have any additional questions or anything like that, just send me a message, send me a text message, give me a call, email, anything like that. Just reach out and I'll answer any questions y'all have. But thank you guys so much for joining me on your Saturday night. I know I didn't do a trivia again this Wednesday. I just haven't had time to put together a trivia questions and things like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one Wednesday, depending on what we have to do. But if anything, make sure to check us out next Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. We'll do our other live stream Q&A like we do every single week, like I'm going to continue to do after I get elected, so that I can always talk to y'all about what's going on in the legislative world and ask your suggestions and opinions on how you want me to vote. So my name is Dan Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. Thank y'all so much for joining me. May God bless y'all and may God bless America.